Testing 1, 2. Okay. Little bit more. Right there. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
I think the 88 sounds brighter. Let's go with that.
Yeah.
I'm good lead along now, depending on how it's gonna read.
When I started Alligator Records back in 1971, all I wanted to do was to record my favorite blues artists. I didn't think I was starting the biggest blues record company in the world. Back in the 60s, I was into folk music like a lot of other people, and I heard my first live blues at folk festivals. It really touched something in me, something I kind of didn't know existed. It was such direct, emotional, personal music, music of experience. It just reached down inside me and grabbed me and yanked.
Gonna find those Holland riders, pay the one I want them to say. So when she reads her paper in the morning, they're gonna read all right today, because I need love so bad. Now I don't have to worry, I know what I have to say. Now I don't have to worry, I know what I have to read. Now I don't have to worry, I know what I have to read.
Stayed pretty close from what I could feel.
How'd it feel, guys?
One more time, I think we can get it.
Should I hold that one?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good trick.
All right, it's gonna happen now. Let's try it again.
What's this called?
Horoscope.
Horoscope, take 9.
Chicago was and still is the blues capital of the world. There are more black people in Chicago than any other city in the United States. And many of them came from the Mississippi Delta, where the blues was born. They came up to Chicago looking for work, and they brought the blues with them. For a long time, Chicago blues sounded pretty much like Mississippi blues. But over a period of time, Chicago changed the blues. The blues got tougher, louder, more amplified, because Chicago's a loud, tough, amplified city. When I first came to Chicago, I went to work for Bob Kester at Delmark Records, a record label that he ran out of his store, the Jazz Record Mart.
Snatch it back and hold, baby, one more time.
Even though Bob liked to think he was running a jazz label, he produced some of the most important Chicago blues records ever made. During the 60s and the 70s, without Delmark, there wouldn't have been a Chicago blues recording scene. He was an essential bridge in bringing young white kids like me into the blues.
I can't help myself. Somebody's got to help me.
He was my teacher and my hero and my mentor, and I learned a great deal from him. He was crucial in the beginnings of Alligator.
You know, I ain't got no brand new band.
I was originally interested in jazz. There were no blues labels when I started Delmark. Delmark became a blues label when a few blues artists showed up, and I felt that blues and gospel was all part of jazz, as is Cajun, Zydeco. I guess the real lump term ought to be black music, although a lot of whites do play jazz. If you were operating a blues label or a jazz label, the first thing you knew is you're not going to make a lot of money at it. And the second thing you knew was that whatever you did record, you would sell that record forever. That's the one good thing about our type of a record operation. We're not going to get on the charts. We're not going to make a lot of money, you know. And it's a more laid back kind of thing, especially the way I do it. I think it's a responsibility of the label to record music, even music that doesn't sell. I guess the difference between my approach and Bruce is that, you know, having had to start from scratch without a catalog, he basically recorded things that he thought would sell through. He's a hustler, just so he still is.
Alligator. Oh, hi, Hilton. How you doing? Good. Hold on for a moment.
Bruce Hilton on 77th.
Blow him off.
Okay.
Hi, can Bruce give you a call back? He's in a meeting right now. Okie doke, can I have the number? Okay, thanks a lot. Alrighty, bye-bye.
I left Bob and Delmark in 1971 to start my own label, Alligator. The reason? A rough and tumble, house rockin' Delta blues band who played some of the most exciting slide guitar I had ever heard. Bob didn't want to record him, so I scraped together $2,500 to do it myself. His name was Theodore Roosevelt Taylor, but everyone called him Hound Dog.
And so, honey, everybody know the Hound. Honey, you ready to shake it? Shake your money maker. Honey, you ready alright? Roll your money maker. I got a gal, she lives up on the hill. Well, I got a gal, she lives up on the hill. Well, the fool trying to quit me, man, but I love her still. She rolls her money maker. Boy, she really can shake it. Shake your money maker. Honey, you really alright. Roll your money maker. Well, the mind don't change, I won't be here. Oh. Roll your money maker, honey, you really can shake it. Shake your money maker, honey, you really alright. Roll your money maker. Thank you.
Hound Dog and I only made 4 albums together. He died in 1975. But Alligators lived on, somehow. Yeah, well, we're going to talk about new releases in a minute. This is the famous Read It and Weep sales figures. It's really slow. And, you know, we're having a terribly hard time collecting money, as I think you all know. Now, right now, we're looking at $370,000 in payables, $200,000 in royalties that I'm just about done with the royalties.
Yay.
Yeah, I was in such a good mood during royalties period. You can always tell when it's royalties period. Talk about period.
Can you spell sexist?
Chris, would you go down and help us unload some trucks?
Sorry, Karen and I have to leave. We've got a meeting in MS.
Had a girl.
No, producing blues isn't a very lucrative business. But then again, nobody at Alligator is really doing this to make money.
But it's gonna be like the T's gonna be coming into the
Yeah,
L's.
T going to be coming into the L's or into the border?
The L's, both.
Alligator's wealth lies in our masters. Over 100 albums we've put out. Blues, pure and simple. Music we believe in. So what next? I guess you could say my musical taste has moved about 1.5 inches since Hound Dog.
Only 2 years from the red carpet car wash. Now from all over the world, direct to you from the home of the blues, Chicago, Illinois, Alligator recording artist, Little Ed and the Blues Imperial.
Yeah, are you ready for the groove?
Used to have a good time, but now
like an angel, but she can get a little wild. Well, she looks like an angel, but she can get a little wild. Don't let that face fool you. The girl is a devil child. Finest woman that I ever seen. When she starts to drinking, she can get a little. She's a devil child, and she ain't what you see. Well, she looks like an angel. She can get a little wild. Yeah, she looks like an angel. She can get a little wild. Don't let that face fool you. The girl is a devil child. Tell me about it, Daddy.
Kenny Neal and Billy Branch are two of the finest young blues musicians I know. Maybe I shouldn't say they're young. They've been playing professionally for over 20 years each, and they're real deeply rooted in the tradition. But I like them because they're not only concerned about the past, but they're very concerned about the future of the blues.
Yeah, she looks like an angel, but she can get a little wild. I said she looks like an angel, but she can get a little wild. Don't let that face fool you. The girl is a devil child. I don't know what it is. It's like some guys come up and they get into music in their teens, and they get real hot. It's like they had it in them all the time.
Yeah.
And it's just now coming out, you know. But I think only thing helped me is me being brought up around it, and I'm used to it. I think it's there all the time. It's just a matter of just getting at it.
With me, it was something that was in me, definitely. You know, just the desire to, I mean, listening to Little Walter on record and Sonny Boy, and then hearing Junior and James Cotton and Big Walter live, you know, it's just a feeling. And if you got the right ear, if you recognize it for what it is, you can see all the wealth. You can see that there's a richness in there, man. And I think, like Kenny, you were talking about earlier about how some of these guys are popping the bass. They're playing the blues, but they're not playing it. You know, they don't see the vision. They don't have the feeling. You know, they're missing. They're looking at it, but they're looking right through it. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at it, but they're looking right through it. And you have it has something that has to reveal itself for you. I mean, to be to not exactly, you know, have come from a straight blues background. I think something almost has to just open itself up to you.
I hire different guys all the time to play with me, and you get these guys who have a lot of technical things about, but they think just because blues is 3 chords and it's a shuffle, they think, well, it's only the blues, it's only 3 bars, but if you don't know what to do with them 3 chords, you know.
You'd be amazed at how many young drummers can't play any kind of shuffle
at
all.
You know, but it's still simple to them. I mean, it's easy stuff, but they can't play a shuffle. And that's, actually, I hate to see that, because we need to carry this blues on, man, because a lot of the older people are going out, they're leaving, and it's up to us to keep it going, and that's why I enjoy doing the blues.
1, 2, you know what to do.
They call it Stormy Monday, but Tuesday's just as bad.
One more time, y'all. Come on, sing it like you mean.
If you see my baby, send her home, home to me.
Yay! Why are we here?
To sing and play the blues.
What are the blues?
The facts of life.
What makes the blues so important?
They are our history, our culture, and the roots of American music.
All right, very good. Very good. Okay, let's just go through a little review here. I'm gonna see if you remember who was the name of a man who used to play the guitar and the harmonica at the same time. Remember I told you he used to wear a rack? Jimmy Reed, don't you remember it? Got me running. Y'all want to go through that?
Yes.
Okay.
Cut.
Cut. Okay. 1, 2. 1, 2.
You got me running, you got me hiding. You got me running, hide, hide, run anywhere you want it, Eddie roll. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You got me doing what you want, baby, what you want me to do.
Lucky Peterson's an amazing young musician. He's been playing professionally since he was 3 and recording since he was 5. He's going to be a major blues man as he gets older. Could have just been one of those interesting mistakes.
Oh, darling, I need your loving. Oh, darling, I need your loving. You've been gone so long, you've done me wrong. I've missed you so. Oh, darling, I need your kisses.
I've been in the business about 8 or 9 years. I've been working with Bruce for about 1.5 years. We've done about 4 or 5 records together. And I had never worked on blues before I'd worked with Bruce. And it's an interesting challenge. It's great fun. There's great musicians. A lot of people that I've met and worked with are people I've only heard about before. And they've had a big influence on modern music, so it's nice to work with the originals. From an engineering perspective, blues is a much more conservative approach. In terms of record production has become an entire scene in itself. And in blues, you're not messing with it. You're trying to keep as straight to the original as you can. If you think of where most people hear blues in small clubs, as opposed to big rock concerts. So we're trying to keep it in a club atmosphere and a club ambience, so that you don't feel like you're in a concert hall, but keep it modern.
Okay, now, here's my problem, continuing problem, which is the issue of the Elvin and especially the Little Charlie record. Because Charlie is touring to support his new record that isn't out. Do we hump to try to get this record out this year? We know that it's a live record, so we're going to have relatively limited radio opportunities.
For a live record, I can't see letting radio dictate when we release it. We should just think about the marketplace rather than radio, because the support isn't going to be there anyway.
No. When you are recording albums these days, do you at all put any thought into this one song is going to be really cool for radio, and let's try and groom it a little bit with that in mind, or?
I don't know what you necessarily mean by groom it. I'll occasionally
just to produce something with that in mind.
But you know, it's kind of the opposite of what the label's about, really.
What is?
Well, I mean, trying to sit there and think, well, let's see, should we lush up the arrangement for the radio?
Hi, Will. Derek at Alligator Records. Just wanted to check in to see how the Architect record was going.
Producing good blues records isn't enough. You need media exposure. That mostly means radio. We work hard to get radio play, but it's an uphill battle all the way. Most American radio stations are commercial, and as far as they're concerned, most blues isn't. And if you think the black stations play a lot of blues, you're wrong. They don't.
Back in the 50s, you could hear a lot of blues on the radio then. It had stations didn't play nothing but the blues, you know. They didn't want to hear rock then. But it all changed after, I said, the 50s and the 60s. Music come along, then it all changed. And then it got where so bad until you had to pay money to get a record played. I guess you all forgot about those days.
And then I think that has a lot to do with the blacks themselves that have taken black music, black music such as the blues, and made it almost, and put a stigma on it, like the Amos and Andy stigma. And I'm scared to admit that they really enjoy this, or they really like this blues, because it's not
a money-making thing.
Well, it's not what they would consider hip, or them not being old enough to understand where it comes from.
I think black people, they like it. Like he was saying, but they kind of embarrassed about it. A friend of mine, a guy down from Mississippi, told me that at the parties that he used to go to, they'd be playing all the hip stuff at first, you know. And then
late at night,
they put on the blues. You know, everybody be up dancing.
They had a couple of drinks there.
Yeah, they be up dancing and partying. And then at the end of the night, they playing the Elmore James and everybody. You know, they playing the low down blues, man. They jucking then. Man, for real, man.
You better explain what that means.
Partying.
When you get
close. Juke house.
You know, juk is actually an African word.
Yeah?
Really?
Yeah, that's right. It is.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, but I can't tell you what it means.
I think we all know that.
Until after,
after the interview.
It's as good as you can do with your clothes on.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay?
Girl, the thinking I'm worth,
Sure, you can party to the blues, but ultimately it's a little deeper kind of party than just partying to straight-ahead dance music. If you don't listen to the meaning of the words, if you don't care about the meaning of the words, it isn't really blues. Blues has got to tell a story. It's got to move you. Lyrics are really central to me. I'm interested in songs, not just music. I wish I had more time to write lyrics.
When my son was only 9 years old, he went to ride to sing his soul. Staying up there at the school, chasing the girls and acting the fool. Told his son, you better to ride, or you be staying home every night. He said, Daddy, I'm just doing what you've done. Like father, like son.
And now my boy is almost grown. He's out of the house and he's on his own. He's playing the blues like his old man, and he's getting damn near as good as I am. Seems like he's gonna turn out fine. I can hardly believe he's a son of mine. He says, Daddy, I'm just doing what you've done. Is that too cute? And I
hate to admit it. Like father, like son.
That's a good guitar line.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please rise and join in singing the national anthem with blues singer Koko Taylor, Queen of the Blues, tribute to Pearl Babb.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight last gleaming, who brought stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, the rampart we watched were so gallantly gleaming, and the rocket red cloud bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flags were still there. Oh, say does the star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the
Koko has been with Alligator longer than almost any other artist. She's like a member of our family. And we've watched her raise her family, too, while she's made her career a success. The blues world is dominated by men, and Koko's the hardest working woman on the scene, which makes her job twice as hard. When she sings, she doesn't sing about being stepped on. She's the one who's doing the stepping. She's gone from being an obscure Chicago singer to being one of the best-known blues artists in the world. They call her the queen of the blues, and she deserves it.
I think most women that is singing or getting anywhere with their music, I believe they feel like, well, now, you know, blues get less recognition than any other music on anybody's music sheet. So they end up singing, you know, rock, pop, soul music, you know, that type of thing. Because when it comes to blues, you know, it just ain't that many women's doing it, and I do believe this is why. Everybody feel like a woman's duty first is at home. Most women's has families, has a husband, has children, and this would be very difficult for, you know, most women to get out here and travel, work, be up in nightclubs and things like that and raise a family. That would also make it, you know, very hard. I've been sticking with Bruce these 16 years, and when I got with Bruce, my career wasn't near at the point that it is today. I was working, you know, doing housework, what they call domestic work. I call it just plain house cleaning. You know, I did that. And, you know, I worked like that for years.
And raised a family.
Oh, yeah.
And had a career.
I definitely did. I had to do it all. And was happy while I was doing it. You know, glad I had a job. You know, work never did bother me. That was one thing I never complaining about, because I have always been used to working, and I was raised up, you know, working. So it wasn't nothing new to me, you know, just another job. Show for the road Roy. I drew this song strong. I didn't have no toy. Lay back in my easy chair, turn on the TV. When the man came out, they won the lottery. I was trying to be cool, but I guess I blew it. It's a dirty job, baby. Somebody got to do it.
Me kind of nervous, so I went and took a job with an escort service. Going out with rich old lady is really alright, but I'm on the menu again tonight. I bid it all, I guess I have to choose. It's a dirty job, but somebody got to do it. This pretty face of mine has always been a curse, but lately, baby, It's a dirty job. Yes, it is. But somebody got to do it. I'ma try it tonight. Come on, Lonnie Brooks. It's a dirty job. I know you can do it. And I love to do it. I know you can do it. And I want to do it. Hey, make me do it, baby. Come on, let's do it. Yeah. It's a dirty job. 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 Somebody got to do it. But I'm gonna do it. Come on, Lonnie Brooks. Yeah, babe. Come on, Lonnie Brooks. Yeah, babe. Come on, Lonnie Brooks. I wanna do it. Let's get to it. So let me do it. It's a dirty job. Let me do it now. It's a dirty job. Yeah, yeah. Somebody got to do it. It's a dirty job. Yeah. Hey, hey, hey.
When I first came to Chicago, the only place you could hear blues was in little clubs in the Black Ghetto. These days, a lot of the best blues musicians have left the ghetto. They play on the north side or on the road. They want to go where they can get a bigger audience, where they can make better money, where they can get a record deal. And it's kind of ironic that Alligator, by helping to make the blues more popular, has contributed to taking the blues out of its own community and away from its own culture, away from the audience that they grew up with, the audience that helped them create their music. When you take traditional music away from the traditional audience, something happens. It changes. It becomes more like show business. I'm sure there'll always be blues in the black community because blues fulfills an emotional need. Blues is healing music, and as long as people need to be healed, there'll be a need for the blues.
As you can see, a lot of the gigs are on percentage, and they're flat fee versus a percentage.
Oh.
Okay, which is great for you because if you produce bodies through the door, then you're going to make extra money.
Okay, one more thing I have to discuss with you is the Sound Warehouse convention. LH called, he wants me to go to the convention, and they're going to be sponsoring a breakfast on Wednesday morning with other independent labels, and they want us to contribute, and the breakfast costs $8,000.
$8,000.
I knew you'd have a
Oh
problem.
yes, that's right. Here's the solid gold English muffins, the diamonds of the jam, right?
Well, actually, he doesn't want us to contribute all $8,000.
Oh well, very thoughtful of him.
You still aren't gonna like this stuff.
Great.
$1,500.
$1,500.
Plus my airfare and my hotel.
Yeah.
Hilton 13.
Great. Blow him off.
Okay.
But anyways.
Plus airfare, hotel.
Yeah, yeah.
Empty, the skies is crying. Look at your tears rolling down the street. Skies is crying. Look at your tears rolling down the street. I'm steady trying to find my baby, and I wonder what can she be. I've got a funny feeling my baby don't love me no more. I got a funny feeling my baby don't love me no more. Oh Lord have mercy. Skies is crying. Look at the tears going out my door.
93 WXRT Chicago. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to an hour of American roots music, an hour of the Chicago ground sound, an hour of true stories, an hour of the facts of life, an hour of music that's real. It's an hour of the blues. It's 10 o'clock Monday night and time for Blues Breakers. I'm your host, Tom Marker, and we're broadcasting live from the city of Chicago, the world capital of the blues. Let's start out with Magic Sam's Sweet Home Chicago.
Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, baby, don't you wanna go? Back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago. 1 and 1 is 2, and 2 is 4. The way that I can love you, woman, you never know. Come on, baby, don't you wanna go back to the same old place, sweet home Chicago? Back to that same old place, sweet home Chicago. 3 and 3 is 6, and 6 and 3 is 9. You give me some of yours, I'll give you some of mine. Come on, baby, don't you want to go back to that same old place, sweet